Hello, and thank you again for joining our Back to School EDU Day today. It's fantastic to see you all. And as you already know, my name is Amanda Frampton, and I'm the Learning Delivery Specialist up here in Queensland. I'm based in Brisbane, but I look after all of the schools and school systems in Queensland. So give me a shout out if you need any support in the future. I would be more than happy to have a chat and see what I can do to support. But today, this morning, we are here to grab some tips about how you can get the best out of Windows and also some of the Office apps. So I sort of devised this session thinking back on my time in the classroom, and this time of year obviously used to cause me a bit of anxiety because I'd be busy getting my classroom ready and spending a lot of time making labels and laminating and creating resources. So I wanted to put together a session that will hopefully show you some more productive ways to use Office and Windows to get the best out of the technology when you are prepping for the year. So I'm going to show you my top tips in Windows, my top tips in Word, PowerPoint. What else have I got in there? One for creating resources in OneNote, and also mail merge. And if you haven't seen mail merge, it's going to change your life. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with my top tips for Windows. So I just have a couple of great shortcuts to show you today. And the first one, if you don't already know about it, is the Windows plus full stop shortcut key. So what I'm talking about is on your keyboard, to the left of your spacebar, you'll find the Windows key. If you press the Windows key and hold it down and then press the full stop bar at the same time, you'll get this super duper emoji keyboard that comes up. Now, I'm actually presenting today on Windows 11. You might not be on Windows 11 yet, so you can see that my icons are nice and stylized because that's one of the new features of Windows 11. If you're on Windows 10 and you're on one of the latest versions, this will still work. It'll just look a little bit different for you. So you can see here that I've got emojis in here, which means at any stage in my document, I can actually insert emojis into my document. You can also go to the GIF panel as well, which means that you can insert GIF panel GIFs into a Word doc, into a PowerPoint, into a OneNote, or into a team straight away. And the other cool thing that happens in here is that you do have your own symbols, and you have some classic emojis as well, as if you wanted those. The coolest thing too is that you now have your clipboard history in here. So you can see that I've been preparing this slide, and I've got lots of little snapshots of snipping tools from what I've been doing for this PowerPoint, and they're all in here. So if I wanted to repaste something, I can easily do that for you as well. So remember Windows key, that Windows full stop. The cool thing I wanted to show you as well is that if you are using this Windows full stop key, it just means that you can add a visual element to your OneNote pages, to your sections in OneNote. So maybe we're doing, stop motion animation, and I wanted to create a bit of a visual there in my OneNote page over here so the students can actually see the little film icon. I can also do this when I am operating in a team as well. So let's say I've got my team here and I wanted to add in a new channel. I can actually pop in here and use my Windows emoji key, and I might put in science. And I've got a little test tube here. I might put that one in there, and I might make my channel science experiments and add that in. And then when you add that channel in, you can see that you now have that little visual that comes up in your Teams channel. Now, this is really great for lower levels as well that might be navigating a lot of channels in a team, so that you can draw on that icon to actually direct them to the test tube channel if you wanted to. Okay, the next one I wanted to show you today is the Windows plus arrow key shortcut. Now, this one has been around for a while, and you used to be able to use this when, you used to be able to multitask by just, dropping and dragging and slamming your application against the left-hand side, and then actually slamming your application, against the right-hand side to split your screen. But this shortcut is actually a little more efficient to do that. So multitasking is awesome when you're on on your device, and let's say I'm doing a bit of a planning today. So I've got my unit plan here, and I wanted to check the ACARA site to make sure that I've got the elaborations correctly. So what I'm actually doing this time is using and I'll do that again for you, I've got my application full screen, so I just hold down the Windows key and press the right arrow key, and that will take my application over to the right-hand side. And then you can see here that I get a snapshot of all the windows that I've got open as well, all the applications I've got open as well. So I can snap my ACARA website within Edge to the left-hand side so that I can view both of these documents at the same time. And I can even edit my Word document at the same time as viewing the website here. So the Windows arrow keys, I'll just put that slide up again. Windows plus left, Windows plus right allows you to really easily split your screen without all of this mucking around, where you're dragging and dropping and slamming your application. So this is really fantastic if you are in Teams meetings as well and wanted to have your Teams meeting running on one side and then have a document that you're presenting from or need to look at for the Teams meeting on the other side as well. So Windows plus arrows and Windows plus full stop, two essential Windows shortcuts you need to add to your beginning of year kit. Okay, I'm just going to move on to Word now, and I have a few top tips for you in Word. Word's come a long way, and it can do a lot that will help you make some pretty incredible resources now. So the first thing I wanted to show you is just when you are in any Office application, if you are working in it and you're using your toolbars a lot, I'm not sure if you already know this, but I thought it would be worth mentioning as well. Usually by default, your toolbars up the top here are collapsed. Okay, so that means that if I go into the Home tab and click on it, it'll become visible to me and I can select something. And then it will disappear. Okay, so I get full view screen. I use this a lot when I'm presenting as well, if I don't want to go into presentation mode, and I can collapse my screens down. But if you are using your formatting a lot and you're sick of that toolbar disappearing, in any of our Office apps, whether it be Word, PowerPoint, OneNote, Excel, Outlook, if you double click the Home tab, that's actually going to lock your toolbars down up the top for you and expand them so that you can just click through them and you can see them all without having to, click on it and make it appear. So to make them disappear again, obviously you can double click on the Home tab and that will expand you out. So just thought I'd refresh your memory on that one to start with, because I know when I'm doing a lot of formatting and making resources, I like to have them visible there so that I can, just move these around as well. So the first tip I wanted to show you in a Word today is quite a easy one to use, but just again, it might be worth refreshing your memory, is that we do have a template section in Word when you're creating a new document. So this could be useful for you if you want to, send out a letter to your parents or you want to find some name labels, or you want to create a calendar for your classroom. You can use the Word templates or the templates in PowerPoint for that fact to create some really cool resources. So I'm going to jump out to screen share now and just show you a couple of things, and also find a name badges template and show you how name labels template, and show you how I use Mail Merge to create desk labels for the students in my class. So let's have a look at that. So I've opened up Word here, and as you can see on my Home tab, I have the opportunity to create a new blank document, but you can see I've had some recently used templates up here, and I can also search for more templates over here. Just a really quick tip as well, these are all your recent documents, so you can quickly open up something that you were previously working on the day before. I find this saves me a lot of time as well, as opposed to searching through my File Explorer all the time. But let's go into more templates. you can peruse these at your own leisure. But there are things like calendars in here. I did a Christmas event flyer late last year. You can see these are the ones that I have used. And you can see here that I actually searched for name badges, and I found this lovely bright name badges template in here as well. So I know there's a lot of sites that you can download really beautiful resources from now that you may have subscribed to. So Mail Merge will apply to those if they're editable Word documents as well. But I just wanted to show you that templates was there. So for instance, if I've got a document here now, I'm going to move into the next feature I wanted to show you, which is Mail Merge. And I could actually pull up my class list and I could start to type all the names of my students in. Now, that's well and good, but if I wanted to use this and have this available, all throughout the year and be able to apply it to different templates, etc., because I might have a book one with maths on it. I might have, a folder, tidy tray, tub inside the classroom for them to put their hats on. It's a lot of individual name typing that I have to do. So I'm going to show you Mail Merge because you can set this up so that you can apply it to all of your different documents. You do need to use Excel in conjunction with this as well. So let's say you've been sent your class list by admin, you have downloaded a report from your student data management system, and you have got a class list ready. You can either use it and alter it or edit it in terms of what you've had in your report, or you can create a new one and copy all the words from your Word document or whatever. But what you basically need to do is have a Excel spreadsheet set up with all of the sort of data that you want to be able to put into a document with the click of a button. So you can see here that I've got a lovely small class this year. I've only got 4 students. It's a rockin' class this year. I'm really happy with it. And all I've got here is my column names in first name and last name. And then I've got some names in here. Now, you could actually put in a whole heap of data in here. You could put in their passwords. You could put in their house. You could put in, what else would you be wanting to put in there? Their class, because you might need it to say, 3R or whatever class that you are, and you can use these merged fields in your document as well. So once I've got this, I just need to have it saved and know where the location is, so that when I come back into my Word document, I can actually head into my mailings toolbar here, and there is a Mail Merge wizard here that you can go through at your own pace as well, but I'm just going to show you the quick way that I do it. First, you have to basically link that Excel document to your document that you want to merge. So I'm going to use an existing list, and I'm just going to search for that Excel spreadsheet that I just made. So I'm going to go into my Mail Merge folder, because that's where I've saved it, and I'm going to click on the class list 2020, and it's going to say, you want me to read everything on sheet 1 of that spreadsheet? And I say yes. First row of data contains column headings. Yes, that is correct. So make sure you don't forget your headings like first name, last name, password, because you'll see that when I do this, it brings those in to allow us to easily merge this document. So I've now linked this document to that data source. So now what I get to do is insert my merge field. So now that I've linked that as the first step, you can see that those column headers in my Excel spreadsheet have come through as the merge fields. So what I want to do is insert the first name here, and what I need to tell Mail Merge to do is that after it's inserted the first name in the list in this text box, is it needs to move to the next record. So I just then apply in rules here the next record, and then I go to the next box and I can do the same there. So I'm going to insert merge field. Don't worry about the formatting of these too much because they are going to go in as you want them to. Okay, so I've got this one here and I need to, you can actually then, if you wanted to, copy and paste these, just making sure that your cursor is in the right place. Otherwise, you'll get formatting issues. So I actually find it easier for the first document to just do it all manually to ensure formatting. So here I go into mailings again and I can delete that and then insert that merge field and apply that rule to it. Next record, delete that, insert merge field, next record. So you would go through and you would format your whole document like this. Okay, so I've formatted my whole document and now here's where the magic comes in. I can actually merge that data source and it will put in all of the first names into these labels for me ready to print out and laminate. So to do that, all I need to do is I can click ABC preview results here and look at that, voila! All of those results go into that document. Now, if you had like 25, students in your class, which would be a normal kind of class size, maybe more, it will just continue to do page after page after page and you can report that over. Now, the thing I love about this is if you have this set up, then, 2 weeks later, if you want to reprint name badges, you can use the same data source and just connect it really quickly to this and, add new people to the data source because you've got a new member in your classroom and then print a new set of labels. So that's mail merge and please have a go. It's definitely something that can finish, that can it's worth going through the motions to learn how to use mail merge because in the end, it will save you a lot of time. I even used to merge my criteria sheets and have their names in the criteria sheets and then, highlight the sections in my criteria sheets individually before I printed them out. So it is definitely a massive time saver. So Dictate is a great accessibility tool that exists in all of our Office applications now, and it lives on the Home tab at the end, or you can find it in Insert as well. But there it is there, Dictate. Now, I've got a great hack in terms of converting analog content to digital content really quickly using the Dictate tool. So you might be the type of person that, could snip and sketch, but you might want to have a completely editable document. So let's say I've got a book here and this is actually a Minecraft STEM challenge book that I'm pulling some stuff out of to create a unit where my students are exploring the properties of materials in Minecraft. And there's a section in here that I wanted to include in a OneNote page or in a Word document that's part of their scaffolding of activities. And I could retype it, but I can speak I can speak quicker than I can type. I could retype it, but I can actually speak quicker than I can type. And I also want to ad lib on it a little bit as I put my content in. So I'm going to open up a Word document and I'll just delete that because that's one that I did earlier. And if I go into Home and start Dictate, I can actually start reading what I've got on this page and using some punctuation commands to edit it while I go. So check this out. Rock, metal, and wood. Next line. In the real world, buildings are made from lots of different materials. Some of the most common types are : next line, brick and concrete, next line, stone and slate for roofs, next line, wood, next line, metal. You can use all these in Minecraft too, so it's worth learning a bit about their properties. And as you can see, I just navigate to the bottom there and I turn off Dictate. But how cool is that? Oops, I forgot to turn it off. It didn't register that click, so I just need to click that I'm not sharing anymore. And then you can about their properties. Full stop. So now you've got that content from this book really quickly into here. If I don't have a digital copy, it's a great way to recreate that information. The other really cool thing that I love to use Dictate for is to create resources for reading progress. So, if you've got a whole heap of PM readers or Rigby readers and you want to get some little passages for your students to read using the reading progress feature in Teams, and if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's super cool. You can, not breaking your 10% copyright rule, but just dictate some of the content from one of those readers into a Word document and plug that into reading progress, and they're reading contextualized content. Okay. There are some libraries available to you within the resource, but it's really great to have your own content as well. This is another great way to very easily grab some text from a picture or possibly a PDF that you would like to kind of recreate or edit when you are creating resources as well. And this is going to move into a little tip on how to create some really interactive resources for your students that you might want to push out through the class notebook. So interactive worksheets, as opposed to just, printing in a PDF for your students. So I'm just going to use this Minecraft book as an example again. And I just picked this up from one of those, Carindale shopping centre or shopping centre book thingies in the middle, but it's got some pretty good stuff in it. And I've taken a picture of one of the pages because I want to use some of the text from it in my unit that I'm planning as well. So I've popped that picture into, this could be a photocopy. I know my photocopier at school used to be able to photocopy a page and turn it into PDF as well, so you could do that as well. But if you want it color, take a picture with your phone or with your device. So I've got the picture in here, and what I can actually do is, once I've got the picture in here, is I can right click on that. Now, inserting this into OneNote. So inserting the picture into OneNote. This is a feature of OneNote. If I right click on the picture here, I can copy text from picture. And if I was to insert a new page here, I can actually just paste, and voila, that actually pulls all of that text from that picture, which means I can now edit that, change the order of it, pull what I want, delete what I want, etc. So that's a bit of a quick way to turn digitize some content as well. This is a better example, I think, in terms of how you might actually start to use this as well. So, for instance, I have a sheet like this. We've all seen sheets like this. We've got a million of them. If you subscribe to any of the sites, you can download these. But if it's not interactive and you want to make it a little bit more interactive for your class notebook page, and not just print in the PDF and get the kids to try and type over the top, which can be really, really messy, I can create a new interactive worksheet quite simply by copying the text from the picture. And if I add a new page, I can then paste that text, and I can then muck around with this a little bit. So I might like to make this text a little bit bigger, obviously, and I don't like those multi-choice questions. I want to see what the students actually have to say. So I'm going to increase the font here. Obviously, you would do that. You might have your default bigger. And I'm going to get rid of this multi-choice question here as well. So this is a super cool way that you can give students a space to write that expands. So, you might just leave some lines like that, or you might put in lines for the students to actually write in, but then they still have to try and match that up or type over the top of it. So inserting a 1-by-1 table is a magical tip. Go into your insert toolbar, find your table icon, and just put in one cell of a table, okay? Now, I'll just move down a little bit so that you can see this more clearly. One cell of a table. That now becomes a space where your students can edit and put in their answer to that question. The cool thing about a OneNote table is that it takes the shape of whatever you're putting in there. So the students could type 5 lines. Okay, I'm just going to hold down this key, and you can see that it will continue to make the text below move down, so they're not going to mess up the formatting of the sheet, etc. And it will take the shape of what they're doing. So let me show you one that I've prepared earlier. and how I have pretty much turned this into a nice interactive worksheet like this. And I've put my own picture in there, etc. And I've given the space the students to write. And the other thing I wanted to show you about the table is that if you wanted them to, insert a picture, they can actually insert a picture into that table cell as well. And the cell will take the shape of that picture, and they can actually then write some text underneath. So that's a super hot tip on creative interactive content in your OneNote page. Then from my class notebook, I could distribute that out to the students and use my, quick marking to mark that, or distribute that page through an assignment in Teams as well. So, yep. 1-by-1 table. It is awesome. I digressed a little bit and went into a OneNote tip there, but I'm moving back in to finish off my top tips for Word, and that is using the Read Aloud feature. Again, an awesome accessibility tool, but a great tool as a proofreading hack as well. Now, I used to send out my teacher letters, and no matter how many times I'd proofread them, there might still be an error in it. So I always use excuse me, the Read Aloud feature in Word now to proofread my work. I can also use the editor tool as well, which will give you some tips on grammar, etc. down the side. So that's a new feature of Word. If you don't see that in your offline version of Word or your desktop version of Word, it will be available to you in the online version. But just to proofread this doc, what I can do is go into review and have this a document read aloud. News. I can pause that to make changes as well. Now, remember, when we are actually hearing ourselves read aloud or having something read aloud to us, we're going to pick up more mistakes than we would if we were proofreading it ourselves, because our brain automatically corrects that writing. So showing your students the Read Aloud tool as a proofreading strategy as well is really cool, but this is a hack that I continually use on a day-to-day basis, even though I am outside the classroom. But I wish I would have had this when I was teaching, so that's why I'm showing you today. Okay, let's move on to a couple of new features of PowerPoint that I wanted to show you and make you aware of, and you can add those to your kit for the beginning of the year and throughout the year as well. So the first thing I wanted to show you is actually this record toolbar that you can now activate in PowerPoint. So the first thing we have to do is make sure that you can see that. I've already got mine activated, but as you can see here, to make it show in your toolbar up the top here, you do need to go into File and then into Options and Customize Ribbon. So File, Options, and then we're going to go into Customize Ribbon. Now, on the right-hand side here, you'll see that Record should be unticked on yours if you don't already have it showing. You just want to tick that and then press OK. And then you have this new ability in PowerPoint to create a really cool presentation that you can use an existing PowerPoint deck to base it on. And you can do different things on each slide recording. So for instance, in my first slide, I might have my video on and I might do some annotation. And then in my second slide, I might just have annotation happening and my video off. And in my third slide, I might choose to play a video that I have inserted into the PowerPoint, which will then play during the exported presentation that I create. So let's have a look at how it works. Once you've got this record toolbar up the top here, you can go into this record function here and select record from current slide. And what will happen is you will enter into an interface that looks something like this screenshot that I've got on the screen here. You can have the opportunity to record, stop, and replay in the top right-hand corner, the top left-hand corner there. You can move between your slides, advance forward in the presentation and advance backwards. So you can actually record in one big go and click through all the slides and, annotate, etc. on them. But what I do love about this tool is that you can record slide by slide. So as I was saying before, you might click record, do some annotation on this slide, click stop, replay that, make sure you're happy with that, and then go on to the next slide and do something completely different on there. So I'll show you what I mean by that. If I just pop into this next slide here and I execute my record toolbar, it's not going to let me use my camera because I'm already using that to do this screen recording. But I record from current slide here. Maybe it will let me use my camera. Yep, there you go. So I can turn my thumbnail down on the bottom there and I can view the notes on the page here. So if you're a person that actually uses notes on their PowerPoint presentation, you can bring those up here and actually use those as a prompt when you're presenting as well. I can annotate at the same time. And if I'd like to, I can skip to the next slide and start to do some more recording in there. So to actually instigate this then, I do have an eraser down the bottom here as well, so I can get rid of that and do that just to give you an idea about how this will look. I can click record up here. And I can then start presenting. So I might be talking about the fact that you can screen record in PowerPoint, which is what I'm going to show you next, which is a little bit different to this record toolbar here. And I might just do a tick on here and then I might stop that. So you can actually replay. Start presenting. So I might be talking about the fact that you can screen record in PowerPoint, which is what I'm going to show you next, which is a little bit different to this record toolbar here. And I might just do a tick on here and then I might stop that. So once you have finished recording, you can just close this out and you'll see that when you're in your thumbnails, there's some little thumbnails, etc. in here that show you've got this type of content on here. So again, this slide I could record separately again and not have my thumbnail on, but basically when you're finished, you can actually export this to video and it will make it into a video with all those annotations and thumbnails, etc. in it. So it's a really cool little tool to have in your repertoire to create some quick interactive videos. You can actually, if you have forms available to you as well, insert quizzes and present it as a slideshow, and then it will be interactive and have quizzes throughout it as well, or little multiple choice questions. But I believe one of our fellows might be giving you a snapshot of how they use this tool in our top tips this afternoon to conclude the session. So hang around for that. You might like to publish it to Stream as well if you use Stream in your school. But that is a pretty basic explanation of the record toolbar. If you want more information, I will show you a link at the end on how you can do more with it. The other one I did want to show you, which is completely different to recording the presentation, is just the screen recording feature in here. So I'm just going to pop a new slide in here, and let's say I want to do a quick tour of this website so my students know how to access it, or maybe I'm doing a quick tutorial on Office 365 and I need to show them where to access their OneNote notebook or something like that. What I can do is from my PowerPoint, I can actually use PowerPoint now to create a screen recording. So screen recording is making a video of what you're saying and what you're doing on the screen at the same time. So pretty much how I've made this presentation. But again, there's lots of different tools out there that enable you to do this, but having it in PowerPoint now is a bit of a time saver because you probably already know how to use PowerPoint. So it's just an extension of your skills. So if I go into the insert toolbar and click screen recording, it gives me the area that I can select for my screen recording. Select area, I can make sure that I've got record audio on. I can deselect or select my record pointer as well, but I like to use my pointer. And when I'm ready, I can click record. And what it's going to do is create a video of what I'm doing on my screen and what I'm saying and insert it into that PowerPoint slide that I started from. So let's check this out. Click record, it gives me my countdown. Okay, so to access Office 365, obviously you go to office.com and sign in. And once you're authenticated, you now have all of your apps down the side here. So to access OneDrive, you could simply click on the OneDrive app and you can navigate to your OneDrive interface. And in order to get back to some of the apps, then you'll have to use the app finder that's in the top left-hand corner here and click on the other apps to navigate around. When I'm finished, I can just hover up to the top. Now, this is pretty technical now because I'm screen recording a screen recording. And when I pop back to my PowerPoint, voila, if I just get rid of some of this stuff, I have now got that screen recording inserted as a video into my PowerPoint slide. Okay, so to access Office 365, obviously, and there it is. So I can use that as a part of my presentation, or what I can do is I can save media as and export it out as like a little MP4 file and use it in isolation. But I will include instructions on how to do all of this in detail at the end of the session as well. This is just a quick look at what's available. Okay, so if you want to get the edge on organizing yourself and creating collections of resources and being able to, combine those with the other Office apps, then Edge is the answer for you. Now, Edge is the new browser, not so new, but it keeps getting updated and keeps getting better and better. That is now the default in Windows 10. So if you haven't already installed it, you can just by searching up and download Edge, and it will do that. If not, find it in your toolbar by searching. And the first thing you need to do when you open it is actually sign in. If it's telling you to sign in, do this, because it actually means you are going to be able to manage your profiles quite easily. So if it's telling you to sign in, do this, because it actually means you're going to be able to manage your profiles and have multiple profiles set up in Edge. Now, when would this be useful for you as a teacher? If you have a personal account and you have a school account, and you use your personal account to subscribe to particular websites for resources, and you're kind of sick of swapping between and having to create in private browsers and log in and put in your password all the time, and getting error messages because it's using your school profile when it should be using your personal profile. So the really great thing is you can see here, once you sign in and add all your extra profiles, you can switch easily between them. So for example, I've got Edge open here, and you can see that I've got a number of different profiles set up. I have ones for when I'm working with different departments, and demo accounts, and my Microsoft account, and my Hotmail account, which is my personal one. And I could add a million more in here if I wanted to by clicking this add profile button. But the really cool thing is, let's say I'm accessing, my personal OneDrive, because I've got some resources that I've brought with me from another school that I wanted to access from here. I can really quickly click on this profile, and it'll log me into that Office application there. And then let's say now I want to go into my work Microsoft one and do some work in here and log into a particular website that I need, like My Learning, which is my training platform here. I can quickly move into that and click on this My Learning Microsoft site, and it will authenticate me nicely for that site as well without having to do in private browsers, etc. So it is well worth adding your profile in simply by clicking add profile, etc., and setting that up so that you can very easily move between your different profiles, and it will make life a lot easier for you. And as you can see, I'm all up to date with my learning assignments in here, which is fantastic. So what else can I show you in Edge? Multiple profiles is worth taking the time. The next thing I wanted to show you is collections. So collections is sort of like favorites, but way better. So I use it in two ways. One, for collecting a number of resources in the same, folder or group within my Edge browser to be able to share quickly with people, and two, as a research tool. So to simply use it to collect sites and to share those easily, this is an example that I might be doing. I've got a collection here called EDU sites. Now, for a start, collections is this little two boxes with the plus up next to your profile photo. I've already created mine. If you haven't used this before, you'd have to create a new collection to start with. But I've already created one here called EDU sites. Now you can see here that I've got lots of EDU sites here. And as part of my role, people ring and they say, hey, can you give me a link to the Sway on the Microsoft Transformation Program? And if you've got any other resources that you want to share, please send those through to me. me. So I might have a collection in here that then I can quickly set up, and I can use this little ellipsis up here to say copy all. And then I could open an email, and I'll just do a Word document for the sake of this activity. And I can paste all of those links in there and send that off to a person, and it creates a nice resource or a hot link of that. Okay, so your favorites doesn't really do that. Collections is a little bit more. Okay, so that's one way that you can use it. The other way that you can use it is when you're researching, which is when the power of it comes in. So let's say we're doing a research project on koalas, and I'm just going to swap back to this site from the Queensland government on koala facts, and I'm going to create a new collection up here called koala assignment or koala task, because I'm creating this for the students. Now, the thing about collections is that I can add this current page, and that's the whole website, and that's fantastic, but I don't want this whole page. I want to distill some of this information for my students. I do want them to know the scientific name. So what I can actually do is just highlight that text in this website and right-click on it and add just this text to the koala task collection, okay? I can then go into the habitat and destruction down here, and I'd like to add just this image to the koalas task, okay? And then I can go down to here, and I would like to add just this sentence to do with behavior, not the whole website in here to the koalas task. I can go into this koala mapping and regulation as well and click on koala mapping. And this time I would like to add these habitat definitions. So I can highlight this, right click, and add this to the collection as well. Now, I am focusing on, and this is another example, you can actually get the students to start to put some of this stuff in their own words as well. So this is totally off koalas. So maybe I'll go back to koalas. And, here we've got 12 months of age. The koala is weaned and takes up a home range. Now in my collection here, I can come over to koala tasks, and you can see that it's put in the whole website. It's given me a little bit of that text on the scientific name. It's popped in that image. It's given me that text in relation to that. But now I want to put in a note that I would like included in my own words. So I do have this little post-it note tab up the top here where I can put in like diseases, and I could put chlamydia, okay, and then I can tick that. Now, the beauty of this comes is, this is all great. I've got this collection. It's in my favorites. I could actually get the citations for this. I could open them all. I could copy them all. But check out what happens when I send this to a Word document. You could send this to a Word document, or you could send it to a OneNote document, but it will actually put all of the content that I've created in my collection into a Word document. So the text by itself, wait for it because it's just loading up at the moment, the text by itself, the images that I've put in, and what it will do also is it will put the references for that site down the bottom, and there's the information I put on that post-it note as well. So what a great way to collect some information and collate it by using this new little tool that's available in Edge called Collections. So have some fun with that and see how you go. Okay, we're on the home straight. The last time-saving feature of Edge I wanted to show you is the ability to create QR codes for whatever website you want to at the click of a button. So if I wanted to, I could create a QR code to this PowerPoint that's stored on my OneDrive. If I wanted to, I could create a QR code to my school's website page. If I wanted to, I could create a QR code that links directly to this sway that I've made on our Microsoft School Transformation project. How do I do that? simply by having the site open in Edge and clicking on the URL bar up the top, you can see at the right hand area, you've got a couple of things here. You've got Enter Immersive Reader, so you can have it read to you aloud if you'd want to, but you've also got this little QR code button as well. So all I do is click on that QR code button. I can download that and I can pop that QR code from my pictures into a PowerPoint presentation, onto a poster that I'm going to stick on the wall, stick it up on my data projector, whatever, for the students to scan. Obviously, QR codes have made a bit of a comeback, so people will know how to use them. And then it's a really simple, easy way to get students to access information quickly. So the way that I've used this today is I have created a Learn on Power Word document for you with links to all the resources that I have shown today. And you can access that by scanning that QR code right now. So that is a wrap for today's session. I just wanted to thank you very much again for joining us today, and stick around for the rest of the sessions because there's going to be lots of valuable information. Switch between beginners and advanced if you need to, and hang around for what our fellows have got to say in the session this afternoon. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm signing off for now. Have a great start to the